Mexicans, right? We are labeled as white.
I shared this before in one of my books. When I was a little kid and my mom was filling out papers, my mom at this particular time can barely speak English, right? And so we needed help, a translator to help us fill out papers. And so in one particular case, I remember the first time that I was, I guess, old enough while we were filling those things out and una señora was helping us, we had to bubble our identity. And the identity was Hispanic, maybe a Latino, white tea, black, Pacific Islander, Asian, etc., right? And then the lady told us to bubble in Hispanic. And I don't know about you, but in Mexico, that's not a terminology for us. So I told my mom, Mama, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es hispano? Because we had never heard this shit before, you know? ¿Qué es hispano? Oh, no sé, mijo, así nos llaman aquí. That right there. Let's not gaze over that. Let's highlight this. Así nos llaman aquí. And that's our situation. As we, as indigenous people, we have allowed non-indigenous people to identify us and we go along with it. You see, we were bubbled in under Hispanic and I asked my mom, what's that? Oh, yo no sé, mijo, aquí nos llaman así. We can't allow that. We shouldn't, but we have. So now you telling me this. We, as Latinos from Latin America, whether you're indigenous presenting like us, a white tea, and black people too, of Latin America, they've been casted under white tea in this country. People don't know that black people, indigenous, and white tea people of Mexico have been bubbled under white tea race. If you're Latino of Latin America, regardless of your race and your background, you are white tea and have been in this country. So white tea people have been claiming that they are the majority in population. Now, if you take in consideration the fact that all Latinos were casted under white tea as a race, and that's black, brown, and white tea people of Latin America, ask yourself, have white tea people really been the majority? No. On the census they have, because they have categorized non-white tea people. You see how they play games? We have been allowing these people to identify us. We allow them. So when you ask me, Ricardo, how come they brand us under white tea? Because we allowed them. Just like when I was a little kid, Ma, Hispano, what is that? Oh, I don't know. That's what they call us here. Meaning, so we'll go with it. Let me ask you a question. Do we get to identify white tea people ever? What would they do? How would they react if we tried? Lately, we've been identifying them as Euro-Americans. What is their response? Nope. That's disrespectful. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But here we are, allowing them to do as they please with our identities. So let me ask you something. What are you?
I think I'm indigenous.
You think?
I mean,
If you only think, then that's part of the problem. You have children? Yes. What did you bubble in for them?
Hispanic.
Huh?
Hispanic, I have. I mean, if honestly speaking.
Okay, yeah, then thank you for being honest. We are part of the problem then. We have contributed to our ethnic erasure.
How do you go and say you're indigenous, but the indigenous people that are recognized as indigenous, they're like, oh, but you're not of a tribe, or you're not of this, or, you know, how?
There is a difference between tribal and detribalized. Indigenous is acknowledging the fact that you're the original person of the land. That has nothing to do whether you are part of a tribe or not. If a people from a pueblo in Mexico tell you you're not from a tribe, yes, I'm not. And ask them, how come? Why aren't we from a tribe? Do you know the history of Mexico? O nos vamos a hacer pendejos? Did we choose to not be from a tribe? Or why are we detribalized? For any people to shame us for being detribalized, they are part of the problem, especially if they themselves are indigenous. If indigenous people are shaming us for being detribalized, is they are allowing white tea people to get their way. You cannot shame detribalized indigenous people if you acknowledge the history of why we are detribalized to begin with. So you are indigenous, detribalized, but indigenous. You don't belong to a tribe. Yeah, but you're indigenous because what is your root of where you come from? No one could take that from you, no matter how much they tried. Tu cara says it all. Cara de nopal, respectfully, right? I'm indigenous to this land, so that's what indigenous is. Do you speak a native language? Probably not. Do you have an indigenous name? Probably not. But what does your ancestry say? That's what indigenous is. Tribal and detribalized, that's a whole nother conversation. Obvio, no eres parte de tribu, de pueblo. Nah, that's okay. And don't let nobody shame you for that. If they need to shame somebody, shame colonizers. If indigenous people really have the energy to shame somebody, shame the colonizers for doing this. Why are you shaming people that were forcefully tribalized? You're part of the problem yourself for doing that.